Good afternoon and welcome to day 2 of the Scottish Fencing Open from Meadowbank Sports Centre here in Edinburgh. Delighted that you are able to join us this afternoon for what promises to be a fantastic afternoon of fencing. Yesterday saw the men and women's foil and the men's sabre, and today we'll be treated to the semi-finals of both the women's and men's Epee, followed by the women's sabre, which will conclude this 2-day event here in Edinburgh. I know there were a few problems had here at the Meadowbank Sports Centre, but I'm delighted to say that those issues should have been resolved, and we expect you to be able to enjoy a very smooth and hopefully very entertaining stream from the Scottish Fencing Open. Paul Neil McLaughlin, who is the coaching manager for Scotland, is with me here at the commentary desk as we await the announcement of the first semi-final for the women's Epee. And Paul, lots to look forward to today, lots of Scots in action this afternoon.
Yes indeed, representing quite a few clubs, Shetland Fencing Club and West Fife Fencing Club in the first semi-final, and then we have Dundee University represented in the second semi-final. So yes, good cross-section, good mix.
And in the first semi-final today, Robertson against Gifford. What are you expecting from this first semi-final?
This will be interesting. Emma Robertson is a good steady fencer, good Epee technique. Mary Gifford, I'm not so sure, I'm not so familiar with her in what she's like. So I think I would certainly on paper expect Emma Robertson to be slightly ahead on this one. Yeah, on screen now we have Emma Robertson, West Fife.
So Paul, this is the women's Epee, and tell us from a fencing point of view some of the differences between the disciplines foil, Epee and sabre. How is today's action going to differ from yesterday's?
Well, generally speaking, Epee is the modern equivalent of the dueling sword, which means the whole body is the target. So therefore a lot more caution, a lot more cat and mouse approach to it. You've got to be very careful. If you make a mistake, you're very readily hit. In Epee, both lights come in, both hits are valid. There are no off-target lights. If you're hit, and the hit is good. So yes, it's a lot more caution involved, but when it happens, it should happen quite quickly. With sabre, which we also saw yesterday, above the waist is the target, and of course it's much more of a cutting weapon, so therefore the moves are much bigger, grander, because they're cutting action. Epee today, point, as in foil yesterday, very point. So here we are, we're just about to start. And away they go. And a straight attack, straight all the way through from Gifford from Shetland. Straight to the body. And again, they both go, only one light. Gifford Shetland again. And again, as Robertson steps forward, Gifford launches an attack into her preparation, quite successfully too. They both go together, as I explained earlier in Epee, that is one hit each. So both score. Timing and the distance absolutely crucial at Epee. Another hit to the right. Now this is not going quite the way I thought it would. I thought it would more the other way around, but Robertson is being very slow on the piece, not being very creative, very reactive. Again, a double hit. You have to really create an Epee. You have to make openings, create openings, sell the dummy to your opponent. Time is everything. That was very sloppy on behalf of Robertson. Should have had that hit. Several misses, and Gifford picks up the hit. And again, Gifford takes initiative. That was a very well timed hit from Gifford. Robertson steps forward, Gifford attacks into it, which is a very good tactical move. Got a lot of work to do though, at 3-8. Gifford could have done with a bit more speed there, would have driven that hit home. Got it that time. So Robertson has a lot of work to do. 36 seconds left in this first period. And gets caught again. I think this is going in Gifford's way completely. There is very little chance of a fight back. Epee's very difficult to fight back. The slightest risk ends up with a double hit. So you may get a hit yourself, but you're also increasing your opponent's lead as well at the same time. Yeah, I think Gifford has this one in the bag, but anything can happen. They're just waiting for the clock to go down to 0, and it's 1 minute break, and the coaches will be coming in to give them some advice.
So Paul, very confident start there for Gifford. Instantly you see the differences you were talking about before the start of the fight in terms of the pace, and also I noticed in terms of the body position of the two competitors. Yesterday, particularly in the Sabre, you noticed the much lower centre of gravity, straighter back, knees more bent, and presumably that's because Sabre is about power and about propelling yourself off from that low starting position. Epee's slightly different discipline required.
Absolutely. Sabre's all about speed, explosiveness, so hence the stance, using the leg muscles to absolute maximum. Epee, because the lower body is part of the target, the foot is part of the target, it has an effect, and people tend to be slightly more upright. Just about to start the second session. Just to remind everybody, there are 3 sessions, 3 3-minute sessions. Now this is a big ask for Robertson, very big ask indeed now. Be interesting to see what happens after being given some advice from her coach during the break. Double hit, and again that doesn't really help because scores go up 1 each, so only makes it nearer the 15 for Gifford. Oh, very nice hit from Emma Robertson. She needs a good few more of those. Again, she's not having a lot of luck, Robertson. A lot of misses, and of course your opponent is just going to take huge advantage of that. Better point control. You just cannot afford to miss at Epee. Double hit again doesn't help Robertson, but it certainly helps Gifford. So here we are, 1 hit to win for Gifford, and that's it. Well, that was a sound victory for Gifford from Shetland. I just don't think Emma Robertson ever really got into that fight at all. I think quite a bit of work required there. And I'm sure a coach will be going away with some ideas.
So end of the first semi-final. We can see our Emma Robertson defeated there quite comfortably in the end by Mary Gifford. Let's just take a look at the winning point.
Yeah, there was a lot of commitment to that hit. And it was well in time and resulted in 1 light, and it was a very successful attack.
And now for our second semi-final, Anna Nisbet and Marie de Saint Croix.
So second semi-final of the women's Epee just being announced there by Mike O'Donnell, and it's Marie de Saint Croix against Hannah Nesbitt. And there you can see Hannah just preparing. And Paul, your thoughts on these 2 semi-finalists?
Again, I think this will be quite close. It could be totally wrong, of course, because I got the first one the wrong way round. But I think this will be slightly closer. It will be interesting to see how mobile this match is. I thought the first semi-final was quite static. Marie de Saint Croix on the left is from Dundee University. And that's her straight into the lead. Hannah Nesbitt on the right is from Team Newcastle. So she's come up from Newcastle for the event, which is nice to see. going for the foot, going for hits to the foot, which is all valid target in Epee. Again going low, but Valley de Saint Croix catching her on the wrist as it exposed as she went low. So that was good Epee tactic hit. See a lot of cat and mouse going on here. No one wanted to commit too deeply. Okay, the attack came out. Didn't land first time round, but it did immediately afterwards. So Valley de Saint Croix building up a comfortable few hits at the moment. And Hannah Nesbitt missing, cost her dearly there. Parry riposte, simple stuff, and it won the hit. I think Hannah Nisbet's going to have to be quite creative if she's going to get the score back up to anything like evens. Referee's called halt. Weapons getting tangled up. Good hit. A well-developed hit from Marie de Saint Croix. Establishing quite a lead here now. Hannah Nisbet really has to start thinking aggressively and creatively. Not happening at the moment. And again, missing. Short attack, short parry riposte, and gets punished for it. She really is trying to deliver some of these actions too far away. And this session just coming to a close, and that's them signalling to each other politely, and no doubt having a word from their coaches. So it'll be interesting to hear what Hannah Nisbet's coach is saying. And in the second bout, no doubt we'll see if it's had some success. Valley de Saint Croix's coach is probably saying just keep doing the same because it's working. But we shall see in a few seconds' time. Valley de Saint Croix looking quite relaxed. Was support from her Dundee University chums. Hannah Nesbitt looking quite apprehensive. Knows she's got a job on her hands. So all the psychological advantage at the moment is with Valley de Saint Croix. Let's see if we see a big change from Hannah Nesbitt. Again, attack, but it's short, very short. These are dummy attacks. Well, she managed to get the St. Croix's blade out and parry riposte it, which is good. So that's a good boost. Just getting that one hit after the break, first hit. Yeah, a couple of misses, which doesn't help. After the halt, referee's not giving that. Certainly a lot more movement from Hannah Nesbitt than this bout, much more aggressiveness, but unfortunately walked on to that. That was a pretty cheap hit to give away. Worked very, very hard for a hit and then give a silly one away. And she was lucky there not to be hit, actually. Went for the low line. Counter time. Didn't work. So Valle de Saint Croix is really stamping her authority on this. But really going to have to start taking some serious risks. Very well timed attack. Point drop low at the last minute. Caught her opponent on the leg. Excellent hit. Classic Epee hit. She's trying to draw her opponent out. She's trying to open the line so that the opponent goes parried and riposted. Again, classic Epee counter time action. Did the same again, but missed, and again lost the hit. So point control, a major issue with Hannah Nesbitt at the moment. Something no doubt she will be working with her coach on. Okay, viewers, just apologise there for the break in transmission, small technical issue, but that's now been resolved. Again, riposte missing from Nesbitt and de Saint Croix just taking advantage of it. I think that's pretty well been the story of this match. We're into the second break, which will lead into the final period. And I think we can sum this up so far, saying that a lot of initiatives taken by Hannah Nesbitt, especially in the last bout, but her point control and distance to a certain extent has let her down. She's been punished very heavily for that by Valle de Saint Croix, and quite deservedly too. And Valle's just bided her time and taking the opportunities when they come along and basically not missed. And that's paid off to a lead of 13-5, which is going to be almost impossible to make up in the 3 minutes. Yeah, especially double lights just give the advantage back again to Valle de Saint Croix to get to 15. You can see that Hannah Nesbitt's coach. It would be handy if we could lip read. Right, here they go again. Valle de Saint Croix looking quite collected. Smiling even at the prospect of a victory coming up. trying to draw. Nisbet trying to draw it out, but drew it out by walking straight on to de St. Croix's point. Distance certainly an issue here as well. And just done exactly the same thing again. And a very nice victory to Valet de St. Croix, a very deserved victory as well. Okay, that was a very good illustration actually of one of the fencers, Hannah Nisbet. Not really taking control of the fight, needed to have more control over what was going on, more movement on the piste, a little bit more creativity, and a little bit more confidence as well. I think it's very difficult when you're losing to be very positive about it. Every time you take a chance, take a risk to try and do something, it doesn't work out, it just reinforces the negatives. So not very helpful, but definitely some things that she can go away from this fight and work on, I think. Valet de St. Croix, I think, can be very pleased with that. Obviously is, looking at the screen. We're just going to quickly review the last couple of hits. The attack from Hannah Nisbet was a long attack, but she just effectively ended up, when trying to draw the hit, she drew it too deep and the hit landed. And it's a good tactic, but it didn't pay off. Now we are just now looking for the next semi-final fencers to come along. We'll be up in a minute. And this is going to be men's epee. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a difference between it's the same discipline, it's the same weapon, but now we're moving to the men. It's a much more physical game for the men. A lot of movement in and out. Some of these chaps are fairly big bruisers.
I didn't hear that, sorry.
We have Callum Johnson on the left hand side from Wallace Fencing, and is junior Commonwealth medalist as well, and Anton Pollard from Durham, I think. Anton actually is, oh hang on, here we go.
Callum Johnson representing Wallace versus Anton Pollard fencing for Haverstock.
Oh, Anton is fencing for Haverstock this weekend, the London club. Anton's also what we call a vet, in other words, he's over 40. A lot of experience, this chap, Anton, a wily old character on the piste. Callum obviously considerably younger, but tall, which is considered to be quite an advantage in epee. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes. I think two contrasting styles here. Anton just saluting his opponent and the referee. So here we go. Mavis Thornton, referee. So already a lot of movement. Just sussing each other out, seeing what's happening. Very cat and mouse. See who is tempted to look for an opening first. Someone trying to set up a moment in time where they can get through. One light. And Callum Johnson took the risk, but he missed, and Anton counter-attacked and got the hit. Somebody like Anton Pollard, he's not going to let you off with anything. Again, he just took the counter-attack just to keep the score one ahead. Johnson goes for the foot very slowly, and again Pollard punished him for that. Yeah, so Johnson's attack comes out. I'm just doing a replay. And it goes low and misses, and Pollard just takes the advantage straight to the shoulder. That gives him two hits clear. Straightening his blade, and here they go. Quite a different contrast in styles here. Pollard low, waiting for the opportunity. Johnson much taller, of course, he's much more upright. Much more sort of a lot of movement in the arms, back arm moving forward all the time, that sort of thing. Pushing Pollard back. And there goes the attack. That was very well timed attack. Pollard's blade down. It takes time to bring your blade up. Even a fraction of a second can make a difference. Oh dear me. Pollard thought he had hit, then turned round. Of course, turning it back in the opponent's offence, it's a safety issue as well, and he has been given a yellow card. Another yellow card means he loses a point, or should I say his opponent gains a point. Well, Johnson's brought this back to 3 each. It's by patience, which is very much hallmark of Epee sometimes. Both these fencers favouring to keep the point moving around a lot, up and down. Johnson weaving his body in and out, trying to disguise his distance. And that's the bout over. We have a minute to think about their tactics for the next 3 minutes. Score being even, no one's obviously taking command of this. Both very even in scores. And even though we've already had 3 minutes, the score is only 3-3. It's a low score. So they haven't really got to grips with each other. No one fencer here is confident about having the measure of the other. They're both being very cautious indeed. Be interesting to see if something changes in the second match. And here they go. Interesting action from Pollard, lifting the blade, but it didn't go through. And he paid the price. Johnson's got an awfully long reach, so if you don't make the hit and get out of the way quickly, you're going to be hit. That was interesting. Cross step attack from Johnson. Just missed. It was just deflected. It was almost a hit, almost there, but just not good enough. Pollard parry riposte. Bring the scores even again. Pollard trying to draw Johnson forward, trying to draw his blade out so that he can pick it up, deflect it and make a hit. It's just not working. No one really confident here, I don't think. Okay, so what has happened now is the referee has decided that neither of them are doing enough and has called the passivity rule in and has moved the clock on. So they are going to have to start fencing each other properly. So we'll see what starts to happen now. Okay, already a little bit more action. Very well timed attack from Johnson indeed. He just made Pollard take his point offline for a fraction of a second, which is of course the name of the game, and launched cross step attack. Very deep, long arm attack. But Pollard's got it back again, got inside his depth, picked the blade up and hit him. And has done it again, immediately. There's quite a noticeable change in pace now. And it'll be interesting to see if this makes a difference, if one of them starts to take a few hits lead. Sometimes when the caution is deliberately taken out of the fight, it can have a dramatic effect on what is a relatively even score. to somebody taking a good few hits in lead. Double hit. Again from Johnson, a low feint. Pollard goes down to parry, raises the point up, hits high line with a cross step. Very effective, fast action. There's still trading points here. No one's establishing a lead. No hit. Head off the side of the piste. Again, double hit, they both go in. The way things are going at the moment, I can see us running out of time before we get to 15 hits. Again, Johnson with his running attack, very successful. That's 3 times he has done that at least, and every time it's been successful. Counter-attack into Pollard by Johnson. Very good action. Pollard takes the gap back down to 1 hit. Again, as I said earlier, nobody's really establishing a clear lead in this fight. Although there's a bit more movement now and there's a little bit more risk taking, no one's really coming out on top. It's hitting the floor. One over, one under, double hit. Now this can get very, very, very tense when the score is evens all the way up to 15. Again, Johnson's feint low, hit high, running attack, successful. Catching Pollard out. And he's just given a hit away that he's just won. That was a cheap hit to lose. Mistake by Pollard there. Cost him dear. If Johnson plays this right, this match is his. He can just go for double hits. Just play for time. Either way, it's his. And he's just reinforced that. Pollard to come back now is very, very, very difficult. And that's it. Again, the feint and the hit, running attack, very successful. So towards the end of that match, the pace picked up considerably. Yeah, that's one of Johnson's favourite hits. The low high. There it is. Up and hit on the shoulder. Very well. Here we go. Let's have a look at this again. Who's tempted to move? Anton comes out, tries to parry, but can't. It's a different angle. There we are. Feint inside by Johnson, and then underneath hits up on the shoulder with the running action. Very successful. Right, here we have Christopher Rocks, Shetland, on the right. Neil Tannock, Aberdeen University Club, on the left. Now this will be an interesting fight. I think there'll be a lot more mobility. Neil Tannock's been in the GB World Cup squad. Neil fences with a French handle, holds it by the pommel, which is perfectly legal, of course. A slightly different style to Chris Rocks, with his pistol style. Expect a lot of low feint actions, high feint actions from Tannock. Lots of opportune hits on the foot. And with that slight extra reach that he has with a French handle, he blocks out the opponent's hit in that case, so that he gets the light, the opponent doesn't. Just to let you know, the graphics may have said that Tannock was on the right hand side, Rocks on the left. It is in fact the other way around, as I described. So Tannock on the left, Rocks on the right. Oh, very nice action from Rocks. Drew the point, Tannock's point out, parry riposte. Tannock trying to frustrate Rocks, bashing his blade about. Rocks' blade very much in line. Tannock, what we would call a tempo fencer, and there it goes. Straight to the foot. Feint to the hand, hit to the foot. So he's setting up, looking for the timed action. Again, Tannock trying to draw the hit out there, almost did it. Rocks was tempted in, short. Tanak just looking for the counter-attack to the shoulder. Didn't quite reach. Got a bit into a rhythm there, did Mr. Tanak, and got punished for that. So again, at this early stage, nobody really taking command. And a very effective hit again. Very deceptive distance. Just about finished this bout. Yep, that's it. Incidentally, the referee for this match is Mr. Mike Thornton, one of our Olympic referees, London. Christopher Rock's coach, Andy Alderman from Shetland. Trying to give him some advice here. You can see it on the screen. One of the things about the 1 minute rest is the coach can give advice. It's quite interesting. The fencer can only really take in so much. Mr. Tanak looking very cool, very relaxed, as he always does.
Paul, if I could come in there, it's interesting watching the players during the break, just as this minute comes to an end. When they have a coach, obviously there's a focus. You're focused on what your coach is telling you. But for Tanak there, what's filling his head in that minute as he walks backwards and forwards?
Well, that's very much down to the individual, isn't it? He's experienced enough to be able to focus in his own mind on the match in hand and not be too distracted. Neil's got a lot of experience. So yeah, sometimes a coach can say too much to you, so it can be a mixed blessing. So it'll be interesting to see if Tanak changes his tactics ever so slightly. He can sometimes appear to be very, very casual when he's fencing, and then just bang, bring the hit out, which he did there. He went for the foot. He was short on the foot, but it drew the counter-attack out. He lifted it up. Paris ceased riposte. Excellent hit. Neil Tanak is beginning to play with his opponent a little bit more now. This will be interesting to see if it pays dividends. Well, that was a cheap hit he gave away there, that's for sure. You can't afford not to be focused in Epee. The slightest mistake can cost you. Oh, dear me. Went for the hit to the foot, missed. There was a couple of exchanges, none of which landed, and Tanak got the last one in. The referee will not call halt until there's a hit, or until the bodies bump into each other. If they both bump into each other, the referee will call halt. But in Epee, the play goes on. Both came together, that could have gone anyway. 1 point landed, one didn't. Oh, very well timed hit. Rock Scott Tanak napping off the play line. He was not focused enough, not paying attention. Too casual. Rock's punished him for that. So we're at evens again. And again, a very well timed attack from Chris Rocks. Takes him into the lead. Can he build on this now? That's a crucial thing. And he is. He's forcing errors from Tanak. That was a basic error from Tanak. It's a forced error. No hit. Referee had called hold. Simple action, attack and renewal of the attack from Tanak. Got him hit back. Rocks is moving backwards, his point wasn't moving forwards. One light. Trying to force, trying to get... He took the pressure off a little bit there, and Rocks came out, and it was a double hit. Rocks still with one hit advantage though. And two hit advantage. Again, straight off. Launched the attack straight off the fence from the referee. So the referee said fence, bang, he was away. Caught Tanak napping. And again. He pushed the attack home. This is a bit of a turnaround. Quite a comeback for Rocks here. And this bout has run out of time. And quite a turnaround for Rocks on this. He's been a lot more aggressive in the second bout and taking advantage of it. Rocks again, just getting some advice from his coach. He'll be in a much happier frame of mind at this stage in the game. Looking nice and relaxed. It's interesting, his coach is not saying an awful lot to him. Probably just said keep doing the same. Neil Tanak is getting some advice from George Liston, one of our ex-Commonwealth fencers. But he's got a lot of work to do. He's looking a little bit resigned, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All to play for though. 3 hits is a bit of a deficit to make up in Epee, but we'll see what happens. A nice attack from Chris Rocks, and it's playing straight into his game because he just has to maintain the differential to be relatively safe until he gets to 15 or the clock runs out. Tanak must get single lights. He's got a lot of hard work to do, and that's the idea there. Suddenly sped up the action. And again got caught there, almost no hit. It's, Tanak acknowledging his opponent's generosity and saying it hit the floor. Wasn't a good hit. Oh! Mr. Tanak took the eye off the ball there, that's for sure. Double hit. Just salvaged a double at the end. But it's all going Mr. Rock's way. Seems to be a technical problem with one of the Epees, and he's changing the Epee. Test, and he's starting any minute. Oh, a lovely attack from Tanak. Or does he think he hit the floor? No, it's, well, the referee is deciding it's not good a hit. And get hit out. Yeah, Tanak missed, and as he started to withdraw, Rocks punished him for that. Ah! That was a cheap hit that Rocks gave away there, but he's relatively safe. Getting a bit frantic now, a lot of action. Tanak can't really afford to give away another hit. He's got to get the next hit. And he has. He's got to work very hard for that hit, which he did. He was happy to take his time. Yep. And he needs the next one again. He's got plenty of time. He's got to stop Rocks getting the 14. One off the magic 15. He's got to keep him at 13. Double hit is no use. That was a very well timed attack from Rocks, indeed, very well timed. So he's got to his match point, almost, you could call it. It's a very good psychological advantage. And he held the blade and made the hit. That was very well executed. Very good match from Stephen Rocks. And congratulated by his coach, Andy Alderman. Have a look at the last couple of hits. Here we go. Slow motion. Tanak was drawn out. And Rocks over the top, and this time, yeah, again, Tanak was drawn out. Rocks held the blade in position. That's it. Seeding action, very effective. We're just waiting for the semi-final of the women's Sabre. And we'll be back in.
Ladies and gentlemen, now for our first ladies Saber semi-final. So the James Hamston representing Sabre.
So Paul, the first semi-finalists for the women's Sabre being announced, and now a real change in pace and a real change in style.
Absolutely. This is a very fast up and down piece cutting priority weapon. The cat and mouse situation isn't really the same as we've just been watching in Epee. This is a more of a sort of do or die approach here.
And the change in, obviously the change in protective headgear as well, is that reflective of the change in speed?
Well, the headgear changes here because the headgear is conductive. Because the target is above the waist and we have the conductive jacket, we need a conductive mask. So that's why it looks a little bit different. And in Sabre, you're still allowed to have the visor, which reduces the contact target a little bit. So people see that as an advantage. But it's just so that the hit can be registered, really. So everything above the waist is target. Now, just to take you through who we have, on the right we have Sarah Jane Hampson, Sal Ossian, hence for Scotland, and on the left we have Sarah Palings from the Netherlands, from the Bella Club. Things are very even, trading hits really. A nice attack from the right, all the way through. Yeah. Referee is signalling that Palings withdrew her arm, lost priority. Not that time though, straight through. No priority there. In Sabre, everyone's looking for that microsecond of priority. How can they win the priority? How do I make sure it's my attack and not my opponent's attack? And at the moment, Sarah Jane Hampson is doing that very successfully. And in Sabre, when you get to 8, you have 1 minute break. And again, coaches briefing. Phil Carson, Sal Ossian, giving Sarah Jane Hampson a few words of advice. And clubmate of Sarah Palings, I'm sure having a few words as well. Yeah, I think not a lot of exchanges going on here in the Dutch camp. She's got a bit of work to do though. Phil Carson giving some advice to Sarah Jane Hampson. Probably keep doing what you're doing. Keep control of the fight. And right now that's what she's doing. And again, it's first to 15. Sabre, as you can see, is very much quicker. So the clock is not really used because the bout doesn't last very long anyway. Oh, very nice attack. Yeah, found the time there. Got that psychological hit after the break, the first hit. Oops, gotta wait for the referee. Not separating that. Nobody really had priority there. Yeah. Hampson started but paused, and Palings took the initiative. was simultaneous actions here. No one's really establishing priority in the referee's eyes. That was. Hampson really putting a mark on this fight. She was trying to draw the attack there, but she didn't make the parry, riposte. The renewal. Now the attack was no. And she got punished for that though, because she missed the first action. Okay. Referees decided that the Dutch fencer withdrew her hand on the attack, which lost her priority. And Hampson's got this hit as well. So this is going to be very difficult for Palings to get this back. Got that one though. Hampson takes advantage. Palings looking for the blade. Straight in. It's certainly looking like her match. Missed. The renewal will be no. This will be to the Dutch fencer. Yeah. Punished that mistake from Palings. Match point. Give that together. That's it. Oh, I think she's pleased. Sarah-Jane Palings, comfortable win, good strong win over Palings from Holland. And the coach can yeah, there was a lot of the Dutch fencers really looking for going round and round and round, and Hampson just sees the opportunity to get the time, and that's exactly what she does. It was very well picked up. It goes through. Good couple of hits actually. Yeah, she should be pleased. Kate Dakin. We're just waiting for the second semi-final. Kate Dakin, also Salossian, Sarah-Jane Hampson's club, coached by Phil Carson. And we have Constance Gouletker from France on the left-hand side. Don't know terribly much about the French girl, I'm afraid.
Ladies and gentlemen, now for our second women's Saber semi-final, representing Sabre, Kate Deacon.
Some local support for Kate, needless to say. So Constant Goulenker from France is actually at Brunel University in the UK. So it's great to see her at this event. Well, this will be very interesting. I would expect Kate Dakin to put her mark on this from a very early stage. But the French girl's a bit of an unknown quantity, so we'll see what happens. And that certainly is Dakin's hit. Dakin's attack all the way through. And again. So Kate Dakin, very quickly, 3 hits ahead. And again, in drawing the attack, parry riposte. Counter time action. And again, a good, strong, long attack. Using the piste This could be over very, very quickly. Kate Dakin really taking control of this. And again, the same action, drew the attack, parry riposte. The attack all the way through. We're very quickly at 8 hits, 1 minute's rest. I think that must have taken all of about 50 or 60 seconds to get to that stage. Kate Dakin has a lot of experience. As from, I think, about 2 weeks ago, or 1 week ago, Kate has qualified for certainly the European Championships for Great Britain and is on her way to qualifying for the Worlds, I'm sure. Scotland at the moment having 3 of its junior fencers qualified for the Europeans and 1 going on 2 for the Worlds. So it's good at the moment. Constance Gouletker from France. Nobody giving her advice, not got much support unfortunately. I'll have to guess what's going through her mind. Not broken a duck on this one yet. Quite a case of being outclassed, I think. And there we are, straight attack again from Dakin, using the whole piece. And it was both very together, but Dakin blocked her opponent out, got the hit. Again, very simple stuff. There's not a lot of defence coming out of the Dutch girl. And again, it's the attack all the way. Dutch girl's just counter-attacking. It's not going to get the hit. Well, the referee has given that to the right. This could be a whitewash. And it's certainly going that direction. And it is 15-0. Dakin, a strong performance. Commiserations to Constance Gouletker. So we're just having a short break now until we have the final of the women's epee, and back shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now for our first final of the afternoon women's
So welcome back. Thanks for your patience during that short interval as we await the final of the women's Epee. We have Vary and Marie Paul in the final, and it's Vary de Saint Croix and it's Marie Gifford. Both of whom were very impressive in their semi-finals. So will you be expecting a close contest in this final?
Well, it's going to be quite interesting because I was quite surprised by Marie Gifford's turn of speed in the last one. So it'll be interesting to see if it ends up being a slow cat and mouse game or whether we'll have some action and a lot of movement on the piste. There's not a lot of caution being shown by either fencer at the moment, which is showing in the results, double hits. Someone has to get that single hit, start them off. And there it comes. Marie Gifford, Shetland, taking advantage of Vary de Saint Croix's not very well executed attack. You can see in some of Vary de Saint Croix's attacks, her hand is still quite low. It's not covered, and there again, good illustration. The exposed target gets punished by Marie Gifford. Marie Gifford there, very slowed down considerably, and Vary de Saint Croix picked up, hit round the wrist. And Epee, you've got to be very careful, keep moving that forward target. You leave it lying in the same place too long, be picked off. Again, nice parry riposte from Marie Gifford. The attack not delivered deep enough by Vary de Saint Croix, not with enough commitment. And Epee, it must go through, preferably with the hand up high, strong, deflecting the opponent's counter-attack. Oh, nice hit. Marie Gifford tends to keep her hand very much in the same place, in the same plane, doesn't vary it that much. Gifford's attack though was weak, it lacked accuracy and depth, speed, and that was punished very quickly by de Saint Croix. First session over, 5 each. So no one is really taking control of this No one's dominating, getting some hits ahead, which is what they need to do. Obviously the score just keeps going up incrementally. 6 each, 7 each, 8, 7, 8 each. It makes it much more difficult. Everyone becomes much more cautious about what's going on. And the alderman giving Mary Gifford some advice. And just letting her think about it. Sinqua getting some advice from one of her university colleagues, team members. We'll see if any of this pays off now. Someone certainly needs to change the game and start dominating this and taking the lead and getting some clear hits. A good hit, but if the Sinqua hadn't missed, it would have been a double anyway. So take it when you can get it. Mary Gifford quite happy to get that one light. A hesitation from the Sinqua. Gifford takes advantage of that, that's for sure. He's got 2 hits ahead, 2 hits lead, which is good. Can afford to be a little bit more creative now. Or just consolidate your lead. Well, it's not exactly the way to do it. That was a very good hit from Vary, the Sinqua. That was a good action. Drawing the blade out, taking the blade and pushing through, deflecting your opponent's point away. Brought it back to 7-all. So the 2-hit lead that Gifford had established has just been lost, which she will not be happy about. Again, things slowing down again, very cat and mouse, no one wanting to take a risk. Oh, referee has called halt. Core, that means the fences touch each other, it stops the fight. Oh gosh, that looked as if it would have come up on her, but it didn't. Obviously didn't have the penetration. It's a nicely executed action too. Should not be happy with that. But anyway, you need 750 grams push. Push the point down to make it come on. It's also got to travel a certain distance. Has to simulate a dueling sword, drawing blood. So sometimes you can make a hit thinking you have, and it's just not been strong enough. Mary Gifford, one ahead. See if she can build in that, get some clear water between her and her opponent. Started to get very slow again. It's always a danger in Epee when it really slows down. It can be a bit of a lottery. It can be anybody's hit. Something happens. And a nice attack from Valley de Saint Croix. Pushed it all the way through, good depth to the attack. Nice to see a bit more of that. And she just called halt and giving it a break. Okay, so no one at this stage is establishing a really strong lead. It can go any way at the moment. Someone really needs to take control of this fight, dominate it, get some clear hits ahead of their opponent. Otherwise it's going to go down to the wire. Just having a look at the last point. Yeah, it was a well developed attack from Valley de Saint Croix. Mary Gifford was moving back, so she stopped hitted. But when you're moving back, your point's moving back as well. So it doesn't have the penetration, the force to make the tip put the light on. Just about to start the last bout. Last 3 minutes. And it probably will go for the full 3 minutes unless there's a dramatic change in tactics from one of the fencers, or both for that matter. Of opportunities there, no one took advantage of. Oh. Even things up. That was just unlucky miss from de Saint Croix there. Not the time to be having a missed hit though. Again, just the hits just going up one at a time each side. Shetland have had a good weekend this weekend. Yesterday Stephen rocks a bronze medal in Sabre. Mary Gifford doing well today. Chris rocks Stephen's brother, twin brother, in the men's Epee final. So I think Shetland can be very pleased with the performance this weekend. Shetland coach is Andy Alderman. I think Andy can be pleased with the effort of his fencers. So this looks as if it's going to go down to the wire. That was good action off the blade. Gives Valley de Saint Croix 2 clear hits. Now, what's she going to do? What are her tactics going to be? Is she going to play for time? 1.5 minutes, more or less. Because doubles will suit her now. Any double hits suit her. She doesn't have to take risks. Mary Gifford's the one that has to take the risks, which she's just done, paid the price. This is a very strong position for Varis and Sinqua to be in now. 3 hits clear. A minute left, 4 hits clear. A minute left. I don't think there's much doubt really the way this is working out. And that's it. Mary Gifford stepped in, looked for the blade, missed. Marie de Sinqua took advantage of that. I must say that the fencers from Shetland show great commitment coming to the mainland competitions. Come across in the ferry to try and keep costs down. They leave on Thursday and get back to the island on Tuesday. So it's a great effort from them. Here we are. Mary Gifford goes for the blade, misses. And Marie de Sinqua takes advantage of it. So Mary Gifford was under a bit of pressure at the end. It's quite noticeable that she started taking a lot of risks, which is not a natural game. And played to the advantage of de Sinqua, who had a couple of hits in the lead and just maintained that and built on it.
So Marie de Sinqua is the 2014 Women's Epee champion here at the Scottish Fencing Open. You can see her just disappearing into the background there to have her photo taken by local press, which is what happens when you win championships, isn't it, Paul?
Indeed, and she should be pleased with that result actually. Marie's been doing a lot of foil over the years. I think she's made a decision that Epee is a weapon that might be more suited to her. I think she's probably right in that respect, and it's paid off today.
And that was a super final, a very well contested final, and it just her performance level just lifted in that third period, didn't it?
Well, yes, I think the situation was that Mary Gifford was under a lot of pressure because de Sinqua had made a few hits lead, which in Epee, once you're in that situation and you're in the last period, you have all the cards, and the other fencer has to take the risks, and the risks didn't pay off, and Vari punished her for that, and it was a good win.
So moving on to the final of the men's Epee, and Paul Neil McLachlan again as your commentator, talking us through the remainder of today's action.
And again we have another Shetland fencer in the final, Chris Rocks on the right and Callum Johnson on the left from Wallace Academy. Wallace Academy, I think it's Linlithgow, if my geography is correct. This will be interesting because we have the tall and not so tall fencing here, and we'll see if reach starts to play an advantage in this final. Again, Johnson just waiting to see, just waiting. No commitment from either fencer at the moment. This is the sort of fishing out period of the fight, the very initial part of the fight. That was a bit of a burst of speed from Rocks there, though. And again, he goes in, but it's blocked. His action is blocked by Johnson. Johnson's counterattack successful. And Rock's been quite aggressive, really, pushing Johnson back, but not getting through. Oh, yeah, did that time though. This could be an interesting fight. Rocks is going to push Johnson back, push him back, push him back. Piece only 14 metres in total length, 7 metres aside. If you go over the back line, your opponent gets the hit. A little bit more movement now. Johnson pushing back. Rocks tries to pick the blade up, but not successfully enough. Callum Johnson slips the blade and gets the stop hit. His long reach helps. Rocks really needs to get inside the reach of his opponent, which he did sort of there. Sort of coming together really. One was on, one wasn't. So bit of a lucky draw on that one. Could have gone either way. Again, Rock's putting on the pressure. Should have been one light for him, but he dropped his hand, and it gave his opponent the opportunity to get the double hit. He's only got a 25th of a second to get that double hit, otherwise the scoring box blocks it out. So going a bit cautious while we're running out of time for this first bout. And having 1 minute's rest. Andy Alderman from Shetland, the Shetland coach, getting a lot of work to do this weekend, advising his pupils. Callum Johnson unfortunately has to decide what he's doing on his own. Wonder what's going through his mind. It's got a kind of what am I going to do look on his face there. You can see him looking to the sky. Say what? Yes, give me some inspiration. Yeah. So very even Stevens at the moment. Someone has to start getting a few hits ahead, which completely change the dynamics of the bout. Rocks again, trying to put pressure on, slowly pushing Johnson back. Johnson not really going well, pushing forward a little bit. Yeah, pushing a little bit more back now. Yeah. Yes, well, very well timed. We mustn't forget this is one of Callum Johnson's favourite moves. Again, referee's not going to give any hits to that, past each other. But someone has to pick the pace up here. Start being a little bit more creative. Otherwise it's just going to be a tit for tat. Johnson's attack failed. His renewal didn't land either. And Rocks took advantage of that. Johnson's hand dropped. Exposed his target. It's all gone very cautious again. No one really getting into the distance to make the hit. It's too far away to make hits at the moment. Someone's got to take the risk to get inside to hitting distance. Both of them hoping the other's going to make a mistake. Not a lot happening here. I'm wondering if the referee's going to decide if this is them fencing each other, or are they just wasting time for the time period? Yeah. This is turning into an incredibly cautious match. Would have to say not Epee at its best. Yeah. Everyone's looking for the mistake. Both of the fencers are looking for the other fencer to make mistakes, but no one's forcing a mistake at the same time.
So, Paul, earlier in one of the semi-finals, we saw the referee actually step in during one of those cautious I use the word exchanges loosely. What was stopping Mike coming in there? Because that was over a minute.
Yeah, I think, quite frankly, the only thing that stopped him was the fact that the bout was about to come to an end. The passivity rule has been modified slightly of late, and I know referees are very reluctant to call it, but I suspect he was just about to. And
so had that perhaps transpired maybe 30 seconds sooner or,
possibly,
or a minute sooner,
possibly,
he could have stepped in at that point.
Yeah.
Well, final period, 3 minutes left for both these finalists. Let's see how it pans out.
Someone's going to have to get a clear hit, that's for sure. One of them is going to have to take a risk to get a clear hit. Otherwise, it's a lottery. The electronics decide someone's got priority and they fence for another minute. And if there's no hit in that minute, the winner of the lottery wins. So it's not a good place to find yourself in at the end of 9 minutes. Oh yes, that was very nicely done. Rocks picked up the pace a lot there. Just drew a slight parry from Johnson to the inside and then went outside and hit the forearm. Yes. The pace picked up by Johnson because he needs to get the hit back and then get another hit. Is he going to keep this increase in pace, or are we going to go back? Both fencers being very cautious again. Someone has to realise that they've got to get a clear hit and make it happen. And there it is. Johnson again, running attack. He probably needs more than one hit lead. And he has just made that 2. Now, let's see what happens. Does he just try and defend his 2 hits lead for a minute and a half? Rocks has all the work to do. Double hits play in Johnson's favour. Well, that was a single hit. So the pressure on Rocks, without doubt now. So towards the end of this bout, it's all starting to happen. Johnson really getting some clear hits ahead. Yeah. Double hit, but that plays to Johnson's advantage. It just takes it 1 hit nearer 15. A little bit too casual from Johnson there. Rocks closed the gap, but still an awful lot of work to do. Putting the pressure on, and yes, it's been awarded. So, fighting back. Yeah. Now, even though Johnson lost his epee, it was in the same action as the attack, so the referee allows that. Perfectly valid. But again, double hit. Johnson has the advantage, definitely. Oh, very nice hit by Rocks. Rocks does have the work to do. He really, really has to take some risks. But he's narrowed this gap. Oh, yes, excellent hit. Excellent hit. Rocks took the chance. It was well defended. And a beautiful parry riposte from Johnson. Yep. Johnson too far away there for that kind of attack. Gap's narrowed again. Now let's see what's going to happen. Rocks have really got to put the pressure on. He did, but double hits not what he wants. He wants single lights. He needs single lights. Half a minute more or less. He needs the next hit. Rocks definitely needs to get the next hit. Another double and it's gone, it's over. It's Johnson's match. Oh, gosh. Now that was a risk and a half. But it's brought the score to 14 all. Doubles don't count. It must be a single clear light. Oh! Rocks took the risk. Almost paid off. Almost paid off. The long arm of Johnson caught him on the defence. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Didn't quite get the whole thing there. Callum Johnson quite relieved, I think, getting that last hit. Being congratulated.
So, Paul, nothing for 2 periods. All happened in the third period. My analogy for that would be a test cricket match that comes down to the last 20 overs, and all of a sudden the batsmen start playing 2020 format instead of test cricket.
Exactly.
There is a real change in pace, a real change in intent from both finalists, and possibly the best 3 minutes of fencing we've seen today.
Yeah, it certainly livened up a lot. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And of course, as soon as one of the fencers starts to create a bit of a gap and get a few hits ahead, it puts an incredible amount of pressure on the other one. And it livens things up no end. No question of that.
So Callum Johnson is the 2014 Scottish Fencing Open champion in the men's Epee. Delighted he was with it as well. It leaves us one final to go before the end of the day. Sarah Jane Hampson.
And Kate Dakin.
And Kate Dakin.
Now, on paper, Kate should have the advantage here. She's the stronger fencer. She's a European qualifier this year for the European Championships already.
Two finalists, though, Paul, very familiar with one another.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can see the camaraderie and between the two of them right from the start.
Absolutely, and I think their coach, Phil Carson, has said to them, "You're on your own."
Well, let's see how it plays out. The final of the women's Sabre, our last final here from Meadowbank Sports Centre, with Paul Neil McLaughlin talking you through the action.
Yeah, very, very quickly, Kate Dakin's finding the time over her opponent, getting the hits. Kate building the attack, and it goes through. There's very little chance of that being defended successfully. Just a one line there. The attack is drawn, parry riposte by Kate Dakin, counter time action, very successful. Sarah Jane Hampson took advantage of that, certainly. All the way through. That was a short attack, didn't have the depth it should have had. And that's it. Dakin pushing, and launching the attack. As her opponent gets towards the back line. Nowhere else to go. Yeah, the attack, counter attack. Okay, that was very quick. 8 hits, 1 minute rest. Oh, the coach has come to tell them, "I'm not helping you." Oh, he's going to help both of them. Having a powwow. I wonder what he's saying.
He's saying, "Here's what you need to beat her, and here's what you need to beat her."
Something like that, yeah.
Or they could just be talking about the weather.
They could be, yes. Yeah.
Anybody watching Charlotte tonight? 8:30 BBC One? For those of us watching in the UK.
Probably will be. Yeah. So
I suppose to some extent it's about enjoy the experience. It's a final. It's just the two of you. You both know each other.
Yeah.
Give a good account of yourselves.
That's exactly what it is. it would be very unfair to support either one of them, and so they've just got to work it out for themselves. I suspect the second half of this match will be over at the same time as the first half was. Yeah, that was a well-timed attack actually from Sarah Jane Hampton. Oh yes, very good attack from Deacon all the way through. The attack is no. Sarah Jane Hampton's attack doesn't land. Kate Dakin's then does, and then Hampton finishes, but too late. Yeah, this is definitely turning into a bit of a one-sided contest. Not surprising, really, because Dakin has a lot more experience. It's also very good experience for Sarah Jane Hampton, though. Getting to the final. Very good for her. Oh, yes. Yes. Good hit. Good hit. Well done. Good attack. And another action. Which way is he giving that? Yeah. That's a good decision, I think. Oh. Referee's awarded that. Dakin, 15-6. And really the result that on paper would have suggested. Yeah, both come out, but Hampson's attack just doesn't have the commitment, and Kate Dakin's does. It goes all the way through. A counter-attack goes through. And of course they're great friends at the same club. Rivalry on the piste, but very friendly off it.
So Paul, thank you very much for your commentary throughout today. If you had to pick a standout performance of the day, who would it be?
Well, I would have to say that I think one of the most accomplished fencers we've seen today is Kate Dakin. She has a lot of experience now, building it up. It showed there on the piste. She's fencing at international level at junior, in the junior, which is under 20. And doing well, so I think my vote would go to her today.
Okay, well, Kate Dakin is your star performer of today's fencing. What's next for a lot of youngsters involved in this Open? What's next for them? What's the pathway for them?
Well, basically, cadet is under 17, juniors under 20, and then you're into seniors. So there's a pathway within the UK of representing Great Britain at all these age groups, which means a lot of training. And British Fencing also have a talent programme, which some of our fencers are now successfully joining. So there's a lot to look forward to there.
And of course, fencing not part of Glasgow 2014 later in the year, but you do also have your own Commonwealth Fencing Championships. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, the Commonwealth Fencing Federation Championships run this year in November at the Inverclyde Centre in Largs, and ever since I think about 71, 72, we have run them independently, and yeah, we are really gearing up for that. A lot of the fencers who can represent Scotland are training hard. They all want a place in the team, and I know that the Board of Scottish Fencing are looking to put on a very, very good show at Inverclyde.
And how many countries could you expect to be in attendance at such
It's
an
very
event?
difficult to say, because obviously with the Commonwealths we have representation from quite a few smaller countries, but we could end up with quite a few. About 20 countries.
Well, that'd be quite an event for Scottish fencing later in the year, and I believe is that November of this year?
November this year, November 2014.
So Mike O'Donnell is on stage and presenting the awards and the medals for today's finalists. And we start with the women's Epee, and the bronze medalists Hannah Nesbitt and Emma Robertson. Hannah on the left of your picture and Emma on the right. In second place was Mary Gifford.
And the champion this year, Valerie de Saint-Croix.
And the winner, Valerie de Saint-Croix, who receives her trophy from Mavis Thornton, one of the referees here today. Handshakes all round. The girls have done very well. A very good final we had in the women's Epee.
That's enough for us. Well done. Congratulations. Okay, men's Epee in third place, Anton Pollard, Neil Janet, Victor Both, and we all ready for the weight classes. Anton, I apologise for that. Anton Pollard, ladies and gentlemen, still here. So this year, Chris Rocks from Shetland.
So Anton Pollard collects his bronze medal in the men's Epee. Neil Tannock has had to leave, unfortunately. Chris Rocks there on your screen taking the silver. And our winner, Callum Johnston. What a fantastic final period we had between him and Chris Rocks in the final of the men's Epee. Fantastic last 3 minutes. Smile for the camera, gents.
The final medal ceremony today, women's Sabre, in joint third place, Sarah Palland and Costa Rica.
And finally the women's Sabre, the final of which we've just watched. Our bronze medalists, Sarah Palings from the Netherlands and Constance Goulacqua from France, who was the unfortunate recipient of a 15-0 whitewash in her semi-final. Sarah Jane Hampson takes the silver medal and the correct position in front of the banners. And finally Kate Dakin, who wins the gold medal and the trophy and takes her place in the centre as we see all four medalists in the women's Sabre.
Good job, I think that's enough for us. Stop it. Well done, congratulations. Go on, get away.
Winners are ushered off of the stage rather reluctantly. Well, when you've just won, it's right that you should have your moment in the spotlight. So, as we wrap up here at the Meadowbank Sports Centre, Mike O'Donnell just gives his thanks to Edinburgh Leisure, to the staff at Meadowbank Sports Centre, to the referees, and also all the organisers here at Scottish Fencing. I'd like to extend my thanks to Paul Neil McLaughlin, who very ably has talked us through the fencing here today in Edinburgh. And I'd like to thank you at home for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you with us over the last 2 days, particularly today, where we understand the stream was much more robust and hopefully provided you with a great deal of entertainment. If you have any thoughts on the coverage, if you have any thoughts on the competition and you'd like to feed those back to Scottish Fencing or to ourselves, we'd welcome your views and your opinions. We'd love to hear from you. You can do that on Twitter using the hashtag ScottOpen14, or alternatively you can email someone at Scottish Fencing or at Quipu TV, the production company. hello@quipu.tv is the email address if you have any thoughts on how we can improve coverage of fencing. So as we look at our women's finalists from the Sabre, giving their thanks to Mike O'Donnell, we will say a very good evening from Meadowbank Sports Centre, and safe travels home wherever you are.